Hey guys, wanted to talk about Lost Ark in general, basically where it's at right now, where it's headed next, and why I think it's got a really bright future ahead of it. I want to keep this largely unedited, pretty raw. I'll probably make some cuts every now and again if I look back and realize I went on a long tangent or I'm talking about the numerous crimes I've committed, like I just found the body. I mean, I didn't really have anything to do with it. But I just wanted to talk kind of off script, just whatever about this current state of the game. I think I should start off first with kind of explaining where I am as a player and kind of who I am as a player so you can get a good idea of where I'm coming from. I work full time, so I don't really have a ton of time in the day to play Lost Ark, and when I do, I'm worried about making content for it, obviously. Anytime that I'm not playing it, I'm looking at the game's subreddit or the official forums or watching videos just to kind of get an idea of where people are with the game right now, like what people's opinions are, what are the pain points people have, and stuff like that, and the general consensus. And I think it's been pretty doom and gloom, probably a little too much. I understand Amazon has kind of a bad track record for them, but I think I have a very different opinion of the game, where it's at right now and where it's going, than most people. Maybe the script has kind of flipped since the latest dev update thing came out, which is a very good dev update. If you haven't seen it, take a look at it. I think it's the only time I've looked at a developer update and not been angry at anything. So, like, world's first for me. So currently I have three characters. My main, a Shadow Hunter, which is in tier 3, 1325. I pretty much just parked her at 1325, and I'm just selling extra honing materials that I get there. I'm just worried about getting gold right now. I have an alt in tier 2 and another alt in tier 1. A gunslinger in tier 2 and a soul fist in tier 1. So generally my opinion of the game right now is pretty good. I think I have a very positive opinion of the game right now. I'm at a point in tier 3 though where it's the game has gotten pretty formulaic. I basically log on, I do my chaos dungeons, sometimes do my guardian raids. They're too frustrating for me. One dude uses all 3 lives in the first 2 minutes usually, so sometimes do guardian raids, do my Una dailies, and then just do that all again on my alts, and then I just kind of get off. Most of the discussion on the game is based around the vertical progression of just upgrading your character, basically, which I agree was kind of in a weird spot. I didn't like the way things were. There weren't enough honing materials, and the odds of a successful upgrade for your gear were like way too low. I'm fine with them being low as long as we get more materials, but we have neither of the two, so we're kind of in a terrible spot right now. The dev update is addressing that kind of thing, which is great. So personally, I'm more interested in the horizontal progression systems of Lost Ark right now. So the latest LOA on, kind of a event held every year for the Korean version of the game, where the director, Gold River, comes out and just talks about the state of the game, talks about their plans for the game and everything. And this year in Korea, they're fully dedicated to horizontal progression systems. They have like Mario Party plan with like a full like game map and mini games that you compete in and stuff like that. They have like a MOBA mode in the works. They showed a little bit of that off. You can see like there's creeps and like and lanes and everything, which sounds pretty cool. This could mostly be because of my limited time in each day. So this is coming from someone who only has like 2 or 3 hours a day to play Lost Ark. So when I'm done with my chaos dungeons and guardian raids and whatnot, I'm not really excited about going and doing islands or grinding infinite chaos dungeon or anything like that. So just having more variety and more stuff to do, and, you know, more ways to get upgrade materials or just get fun stuff in general is kind of the main thing that I'm worried about. I know the ranked season of PvP is starting very soon, which I'm personally excited about. There's no real reason to play PvP at the moment because there's no PvP vendor and there's no ranked mode, so there's no ranked rewards right now. That's a cool thing. The PvP is really fun, and the vendor sells cool stuff. You can get upgrade materials if you want, or you can get mouths and skins and titles and stuff like that too, which is very cool. Hopefully a lot of those fun ways to engage with the game that are being added in the Korean version this year are going to come to our version as well, hopefully sooner rather than later. I'm not crazy interested in grinding my character up to be able to fight Argos or whatever yet. I'm not crazy interested in that right now because I don't have a ton of friends that are interested in Lost Ark, and the ones that do are pretty much all stuck in tier 1 or tier 2 at the moment. So as for the discussion going on about the game itself right now, it's been largely kind of negative, I think a little too negative, and I think a big reason of that is there's a little too much importance placed on the voices of Korean players or players who consider themselves Korean or Russian veterans who have been playing overseas for a long time. I've played the Russian version for a while, but I wouldn't consider myself a veteran or anything. I did serve in Vietnam, but there's, I think, a little too much emphasis placed on these people. You can check the game's subreddit. The split second a post comes up that says, as a Korean player, blank, that post will immediately get the front of the page, have 100 rewards posted on it and everything. I don't think people are taking into account that our version of Lost Ark is a Frankenstein's monster of a game. It's completely different from any other version of Lost Ark that there is right now. No other region launched with tier 3 content. No other region, had the balance cadence and the update cadence that we've had with Argos releasing right after the game came out and everything. So what's good or what's bad for those other regions of Lost Ark might not be good or bad for our region of Lost Ark and our version of the game. So even if you're just a brand new player who just recently heard about this game and you just kind of hopped into it, I don't think your joys or your frustrations or pain points with the game are any less valid or important than these veterans who have been playing for a very long time. And I don't think this is a fault of these veteran players or the Korean players, chipping in on the subreddit and stuff like that. I think it's just the general consensus of the community is kind of these players have been playing for a long time, so they know best for our version of the game, which sometimes can be true, but I think a lot of the time may not be the case. Now, on to the future of Lost Ark and why I think it's got a very bright future ahead of it, why I'm very excited. Is because I think we're really fortunate and really blessed to have the kind of situation that we're in right now. Lost Ark has been available overseas for like 6 years at this point, I think. So it has tons and tons of content overseas, and a lot of that content, if not all of it, is pretty great. We basically have a roadmap of what's coming to our game, but it's done like a bunch of spin cycles in the washing machine or something. It's all just jumbled up. Like, we know what we're getting. We have no idea when we're getting it or in what order it's going to be coming out or anything like that. But it's nice to be able to say, for example, I wish there was an indicator for, front attacks and back attacks for bosses. You can just look over at the Korean version and be like, oh, they have that, so we'll be getting that. It's a really nice thing to have, same for like a pet farm or something like that. Oh, they have that in the Korean version. We'll be getting that too. It's just a matter of time, basically. So it's great to know that we have a lot of content coming, and a lot of that content is fantastic, and it's going to be coming out way faster because we only need it to be translated and not built from the ground up. So that's very, very great. And while I agree with kind of the careful stepping around Amazon and the constant critiques of what they're doing and whatnot, I think that New World has pretty much universally been agreed upon as a huge failure for Amazon. The way they've handled it and everything in the state that it's in right now, I think, is disastrous, obviously. So a lot of people are super, super tough on Amazon, and believe me, I love jumping on video game companies. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love getting mad at them. But I think Amazon is acutely aware of how much of a disaster New World was, and they are doing everything they can to not make that happen again with Lost Ark. I think they're going to do some serious work and really put their best forward to try and stop that from happening again with Lost Ark. One of the community managers came forward pretty recently on the official forums. I think it was for a different region or different language, maybe the EU version. And And they basically said that Amazon can, chip in and kind of give advice or maybe lead the discussion of what Smilegate is doing, but Smilegate, has the final say of what's going into the game and in what order. So I think Amazon is unfortunately getting a lot of blame for stuff that probably isn't their fault, like the Argos release being a little too early, I think was largely on Smilegate. But I know Smilegate is a great company. I know they have the players' interests in mind. They're one of the coolest developers out there. So I think we're very, very fortunate to have them leading the helm here. It was really refreshing to see that developer update and seeing Amazon basically just saying, we screwed up, we're sorry, we made mistakes, here's how we're going to address it. We're changing our roadmap to better suit your guys' needs. We're going to release skins faster. We're going to release classes faster. I think it was one of the most refreshing devlogs I've ever seen. They could have very easily just gaslit their players and pulled bots. We've heard reports of bots, but we're not sure we're seeing that on our end and whatnot. But they have fortunately just straight up addressed it and said, we're sorry, we've done a bad job at this, we're gonna do better. So it's very nice to hear that. I think I've largely covered everything I wanted to talk about. I'm sure I missed a few things, and I'm sure I said plenty of very stupid, disagreeable things along the way, but I just wanted this to kind of be a place of discussion, just for anyone who doesn't want to join my Discord, because why would you? You can just leave comments here, and I'll do my best to reply to what I can. I'll read all of them. I just want to know what you guys think about the game right now, the direction it's heading, if you're kind of comfortable with Amazon being in the position that they're in with the game's direction. Let me know in particular if there's anything you're super looking forward to, or anything in particular that's in the game right now that you really don't like. Thanks for sticking around. I hope it wasn't too annoying listening to me ramble for a long time, but I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for watching. I love you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.